In this video, I'm going to show you how to pick up stitches for the front bands of your Audrey's cardigan. You'll be using your smaller needle for this, which in my case is the US 9 32-inch circular. So the first step in the instruction says to join yarn at the bottom of the right front and then pick up and knit 3 stitches for every 4 rows up to the neck. So we're going to start down here. Here is our right front. Remember, right and left are from the perspective of wearing the garment. So this is the sleeve here. So this is the right front. So we're going to be joining the yarn down here at the hem, and we're going to be picking up and knitting 3 stitches for every 4 rows all the way up to the top of the raglan over here. The other part of the instruction is that it says to make sure that the number we pick up between these 2 points is a number that's divisible by 4 plus 2. An example of this would be a number like 78, because 76 is divisible by 4, and then you add 2 and you get 78. So 78 is a number divisible by 4 plus 2. So let me show you how I pick up and knit 3 stitches for every 4 rows. Now this is another one of those techniques where you will see a lot of different options if you were to Google how to do this online, but in this demo, I'll be showing you just how I prefer to do it. So I don't like to go in on the edge stitch. So let's zoom in on here. So here's our edge. I'm going to want to be picking up a stitch in from that. So if this is our edge right here, I'm going to want to pick it up into this stitch. And similar to when we were measuring our gauge, we want to look for those V's. That's going to be the easiest way to know where to go in. So see these V's here? This is where we're going to be going. This is where we're going to be picking up into. Okay, so to start, I'm going to go into the bottom V into both of the loops. The bottom one's always a little bit tricky to tell, but here we go. I'm going to go into that loop and go into that loop. Okay. Then I'm going to take my yarn and leaving a decent length tail. I'm going to drape it over the right needle. And then I'm going to pull the loop through both of the stitches. Okay, so then I'm going to go into the next V, into both legs of it. So just like that. And then I'm going to wrap the yarn around the right needle and knit that. Okay, so we've picked up and knit 2 stitches. So now let's go into the next V. Now a little tip I'll give you, see how I'm holding this with my left hand, with between my index finger and my thumb. I'm sort of putting that on either side of these V's just to keep me on track, because sometimes it's really easy to start either going in more towards the edge or going in more to the inside. So by letting your left hand kind of guide you, that can be helpful. So again, I'm going to go into both legs of the next V and knit it. So now we've done 3 stitches, and it says to pick up 3 stitches for every 4 rows. So all that means now is that we're not going to go into the next V. That would be the 4th row. We're going to skip it and go into the next one. So I'm going to skip this one and go into this one. So then I will pick up and knit 2 more in a row. And again, using my left hand to help guide me. Okay, so I've done another 3. Then I'm going to skip this one and go into this one. Okay, so I'm going to continue in this manner, picking up 3 stitches for every 4 rows. I'm going to go ahead and do that up until I get to the point of the underarm. And then I'm going to show you how it differs just a little bit as we're going up here, because this is our yoke area and this was our V-neck shaping. So it's not just a straight edge like it is down at the bottom. So let me finish this and then I'm going to show you how to handle the situation up here. Okay, so I've made it up to the underarm area. You can see here, and I can start to see my V-neck shaping. So you can tell the different stitch. See this one right here? That's one of those make ones that we had done. So let me just show you how I handle picking up stitches once we get to this particular area. So I just picked up 3. So then I'm going to skip this next one. So then the next one would be here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this stitch up. And now here is where it looks a little bit different. I don't have a full, what looks like a full V. Here's one strand, and then I have another strand that's just a little bit further to the left, but I'm gonna go ahead and treat that as one V. So I'm gonna go into this side of the strand, and then this side, and knit, so that's my second one. And then I go into this one for my third. Okay, let's do that again. So then we skip this one. I'm going to go into this V here. This one's a little bit more hidden. There we go. Okay, and then for the next one, again, I sort of have one strand over here, and then the other one feels a little bit further away. That's okay. I'm just going to go into both of them. And knit. Then I go into this one. Okay, so then my third. And then from time to time, I just like to spread the stitches out just to take a look and make sure I'm not seeing any big gaps or anything. The thing with picking up and knitting stitches along the edge, the key is really you just want it to make it look nice. You know, there's certain things you can do, like the technique I'm showing, that will help things be consistent. But when it comes down to it, you can fudge things the way that you need to in order just to make it look nice and to prevent any holes from appearing. So I'm going to go ahead and continue picking up my 3 stitches for every 4 rows. As I get a little bit closer up here, we're going to do a full stitch count just to see where we're at. So I've reached the top of my neck area here. I'm just a little bit away, maybe an inch away from the top. And I just did a stitch count to see how many I had from down here all the way up to the top. And I have 80 stitches right now. So 80 is a number that's divisible by 4. And if you remember at the beginning, it said that I need to pick up a number that's 4 plus 2. So being that I only have what looks to be about 1, 2, 3 stitches anyway here, I'm going to go ahead and just pick up 2 stitches in this area so that I will have my total of 4 plus 2. Now, if let's say I needed to pick up more than what I had, what I might do is just undo some here and pick up and not skip one of the rows that I had skipped down here. You could definitely fiddle with things as you need to make that stitch count work. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and let's see, I'm going to skip this one and just pick up and knit these 2. So then I have 82 stitches on this needle. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just put a removable marker right here, because the next step in the pattern says to pick up and knit a certain amount of stitches around the neck. And these are actually the stitches that, this is the area that you had cast on stitches. Now for some of the sizes, you're going to be picking up and knitting into each of the cast on stitches. And for others, it's going to be 2 stitches less. It's just in order to get the stitch count correct. For example, in size 2, I had cast on 36 stitches, but I'm instructed to pick up and knit 34 stitches along this neck area. So I just need to skip 2 stitches somewhere along the edge. So in order just to kind of be able to count more easily, you put a marker right there to separate. So to pick up and knit into these neck stitches, it's a little bit different because it's actually a little bit easier, because you see, I'm just going to go ahead and go into one. It's similar, they're V's, but because they were your cast on stitches, they're just a bit easier to identify. So I go into, that would be my first one. So I'm going to go ahead, it's split a little, there we go. There we go. And then my next one would be right over here. So we'll go ahead, pick up into both legs of that one. And the next one is here, go into both legs. And when I say legs, I just mean both sides of the V. Like that. At this point, your sweater starts to get a little bit heavy, so you always have to kind of adjust it. There we go. Okay, so both strands of the V like that. And some people I've seen will actually go a little bit further below. Depending on the yarn that you use, sometimes people feel it might be a little too loose up here. So if you find that that's the case for you, you could definitely go down into the stitches below instead. This seems to be working just fine for me, so I'm just going to be going into these cast on stitches directly. Now, one thing I just noticed, that this might happen to you too, so I went ahead and picked up into one of my cast on stitches, and I'm noticing that it must have just been a bit of a looser cast on stitch, because I'm seeing a little bit of a hole right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to undo that one that I did. So this is the one that was a little bit loose. You can kind of see right here. So if you ever encounter that, all you need to do is, instead of picking up into both of the loops up here, I'm actually going to go into the one below and pick up one of the loops there, and that will cinch it up. So sometimes it helps to just pick it up first here, then hold it with your left hand just to torque it. There we go. So there's one, and then there's the other, and then knit those. Oops. Let me try that again. There and there, and knit them together. And as you can see, that definitely tightened up that area just a little bit. So that's just a little tip if that ever happens to you. As I said, the goal is just to make it look nice and tidy. So whatever you need to do to make that happen, definitely feel free to tweak things along the way. Okay, so we are getting close to the end here. So I'm going to go ahead and count and just see where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 29, 30. So I'm supposed to have 34. So I need to pick up 4 stitches along here. So there's one. And I'm also feeling like this one, if I pick it up in here, this might have also been a little bit of a loose cast on stitch. So I'm going to do the same thing that I had done before. And I'm actually going to go into the stitch below, torque it this way. Okay. There's 2. There's my third. I'm just going to go ahead and let's see, I'm just going to go into this loop right here. That will be my fourth. So then I have 34 stitches along this edge. So then I'm going to go ahead and put another removable marker just to make it easier to pick up down here. Now for this side, we just want to make sure to pick up the same number that we had done on the right front. And as you remember, at least for me, for this size, I had picked up a total of 82 stitches. So I'll just want to make sure to pick up 3 stitches for every 4 rows all the way down to the bottom and make sure that I have the exact same amount. And when you're going in this direction, it's going to be the exact same process. So I'm going to use my left hand to sort of guide me. So I'm going to look, okay, I don't want to go into that very edge. I want to be going into this row of V's. So I'm going to go ahead, start at the top here, and go into that first V. And then I'll go into this V. And then the next one, and then I'm going to skip that one since that's the 4th row. Then I'm going to go into the one below that and pick up and knit the next 3. Then I'll skip this one and I'll go ahead and pick up into this one. So I'm just going to continue in this manner, picking up 3 stitches for every 4 rows as I'm going down here. And again, just making sure that I pick up the same amount of stitches as I did on the other front.